Breaking news overnight, Chinese retaliation. Beijing shutting down the U.S. consulate general in Chengdu province in western China. This comes after the Trump administration forced the closure of China's consulate in Houston, which is supposed to happen by 4 p.m. today. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo calling on American allies and the Chinese people to rise up against Beijing in, quote, more creative and assertive ways in a speech yesterday.
Just this week, we announced the closure of the Chinese consulate in Houston because it was a hub of spying and intellectual property. And the State Department at every level, all across the world, has engaged with our Chinese counterparts simply to demand fairness and reciprocity. But our approach can't just be about getting tough. That's unlikely to achieve the outcome that we desire. We must also engage and empower the Chinese people, a dynamic, freedom-loving people who are completely distinct from the Chinese Communist Party.
Joining me now, American Enterprise Institute research fellow Zack Cooper. Listening to the Secretary of State's words, is this a possibility?
Well, I think it's unlikely that the administration is going to change the Communist Party's path at the moment. Xi Jinping appears just determined to push on every front. Internationally, almost every border issue that China has sprung up over the last few months. And they've even been pushing further into Australia and Europe with coercive practices. So I think it's going to be very difficult for the administration to get China to change its behavior at this moment.
What do you think happens in terms of the escalation of tensions between the United States and China? What we're seeing now, the Houston consulate for China is closed, and they retaliate, this back and forth. How dangerous is this tit for tat? Even though obviously justified here in the United States, you're stealing secrets, stealing intellectual property. The U.S. is not going to stand by and let it continue to happen.
Many in Texas have been worried about Chinese intellectual property theft for years. It has been a hub of concern. So I think it's not surprising that Houston was the target out of all of the Chinese consulates. But I have to say, I'm surprised the administration went as far as they did and actually closed it down. We'll see what the Chinese do today by the end of the day. They haven't promised that they'll actually close down the consulate. I actually think the Chinese overnight moved to sort of de-escalate the situation a little bit by closing down Chengdu. They could have chosen another U.S. consulate in China that does more business, that does more than just visa stamping. This was kind of a de-escalation on their effort, on their part, I think, an effort not to see this actually spiral further out of control.
Mike Lee?
Yeah, hi Zack. How close do you think the U.S. is to taking aggressive action against members of the Communist Party, such as asset seizures and sanctions against individual members that are active in the United States?
I think we're getting there pretty quickly. We've already seen these threats over Hong Kong and Xinjiang. I think there are a couple of steps that would prompt action. One would be a real crackdown in Hong Kong using substantial force against protesters. That's certainly not out of the question. And we've already seen them go after Politburo members. So, the administration is taking the gloves off here. They're willing to go after those Communist Party members, senior members, after their families, I think, in some cases, and certainly after their travel ability and their bank accounts. So yeah, this is just a real step change. We've never seen anything like this, certainly over the last 50 years.
On that note, Zack, before we go, I'll point out there's the news that the Chinese tycoon, who is a Communist Party insider, Ren Ziquan, on the name pronunciation, I'm horrible, but he was expelled from the party after publishing an essay that targeted the Chinese leader Xi Jinping, and prosecutors actually preparing corruption charges against him. So it's certainly sending a chill through the ranks of the wealthy and the elite in Beijing.
Yeah, Xi Jinping has used this corruption campaign to go after his internal opponents, whether they've been particularly corrupt or not. And so, I think this corruption campaign is going to continue. We're just going to see it accelerate, if anything.
Great to see you, Zack. Thank you so much for being here this morning. Zack Cooper joining us.